are now tuned in to Discover Your Potential with TV radio talk show hosts Dan Gilman and Anna DeVere. So listen, participate, and be inspired. Know that you can discover your potential. Here they are, Dan and Anna.
Welcome to Discover Your Potential. I'm your co-host, Dan Gilman.
And I'm Anna DeVere.
And we are so blessed to have you here today. Today we have a most amazing episode, and we have the unbelievable, gifted Kimberly Meredith. She's a medical intuitive. She's a healer. She's a medium. She's extraordinary. And we're so blessed to bring you to her.
And
today.
She's a best-selling book author, and we're going to talk a lot about her upcoming projects, which I can't wait to talk about with her in person. I feel very lucky that we get a full hour with her all to ourselves.
Sounds great. And here we are. Hi, Kimberly. Good to see you.
Kimberly.
Thank you, Dan, for having me here.
Thank you. And I know our listeners are always excited to have you on the show, and they're eager to hear everything that you're working on. So I wanted to first talk about, because, well, there's a few things that we'd like to talk about. One is you're going to be at the Omega Center in September, which is really exciting. We'll get to that. But you were just in Preferred Health magazine, which I'd love to chat with you about. And you're going to be on, which is really exciting, drum roll, Harper's Bazaar, which is really amazing. So I'd love to chat with you about those things initially, and then we can go right into the Omega and also your book.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, so it was quite a surprise that I got the cover of Preferred Health magazine, which is a real honor because the presidential candidate, Robert Kennedy Jr., is on there. And Jeff Filson from Foreigner, it's his last tour, is also on the cover of the magazine. And Angelina Capolina is the editor. And the magazine is just a great magazine. It's the summer edition. It's out right now. And there's so much great tips about health and consciousness. And it's just right on their website, Preferred Health magazine. It's a great magazine. And also September issue of Harper's Bazaar, which is got all over the world. And this is Harper's Bazaar Vietnam and US. And so I'll be in there as a 5-page magazine spread about spirituality, health, and consciousness, and awakening world peace is the issue that I'll be featured in. So I'm really blessed and honored that I think I'm the first spiritual healer to be in Harper's Bazaar.
That's incredible.
I'm really
feeling that. I gotta say, I'm so excited to be with you, because every time you open space on Super Talk, and every time I feel you, I feel a kindred spirit. And I'm just sitting here thinking all these juicy details. It's so lovely that you're coming mainstream, that you are, that is really like what the world wants, and the world is rewarding you for who you are. Because every time I've been in your presence, Kimberly, and you don't know this about me, but you're so heart-centered. So it's no surprise that the world is craving what you have in that authentic way. So congratulations, first of all. And I'm sure we have many questions to open this up.
Thank you. Thank you, Anna. It's interesting because I never thought I'd be reaching mainstream media with the magazines. That's something really new for me. And I'm very shy, actually. And my mom was always the one that was in the entertainment business and doing commercials and magazines. And then I always was in service and nursing. And how I got in the entertainment business before my near-death experience was I was on television as a medical consultant and helping behind the scenes. And then I was funny because I always got pushed in front of the camera as an on-camera nurse. And then they'd say, oh, say a few lines here and there. And then I got my SAG card and my after card. So this is kind of funny, a little side bit right now. And then when I had my near-death experience and became a medium and a psychic and doing this work, now I'm being pushed back in front of the camera again. Now I'm getting my photograph and I'm in magazines. And so it's kind of funny how I just keep getting pushed back in front of the camera again. So you never know what's going to happen that way. But they do want, the guides do want to spread conscious globally as much as they can, and to help people understand that it's not about Kimberly in any means. It's about getting the word out as much as they can, and this is their way of doing it. So yes, so God bless the guides, and do pick up the magazine at Preferred Health, and grab Harper's Bazaar in the September issue. Thank you.
That's exciting.
I think that's lovely that you talk about your reluctance and that you are and giving us your background. I'm very excited about this topic. I want to tell you that I've always had mediumship in my ability. And that's the one thing that I've been reluctant to share with the world. I have been much more as an actor, performer, intuitive. I will share the spotlight I got on stage very early, which is something I think I share with Dan's mom. And I understand you have a connection to Dan's mom as well. But any reluctance about mediumship is just gone since 2016. You're right. The guides don't want us to be shy. But I love hearing more about your journey. Is there anything you want to talk about your journey as a medium that led you to believe this is just your path? Is there anything defining that you can come and share with us?
I think when I had my, I think my second near-death experience in my book that's out right now called Awakening to the Fifth Dimension, which I get into pretty deep detail in the second chapter. I talk about after the second near-death experience, I discovered my eyes started reawakening the blinking. I was blinking at an age of 6 months old, which a lot of my family members didn't understand what that was about. And it was different and unique. And they thought that I had some sort of learning disability. And I was diagnosed with dyslexia and held back in school. But when after my second near-death experience, and people often have near-death experiences, but still don't really want to define them as it or know what to do with them, I started blinking again. And I was kind of like, that's interesting. This is going on. But I didn't really, I could have just ignored the blinking or didn't know what to do or pushed it away again like I did when I was little. But I decided to listen to it, listen to the guides, the messages, and go with it. And it was trusting that Spirit, God, holiness was communicating what I was supposed to listen to when I was a child. And when I started to listen and really take those moments, those intimate moments with the blinking, with the Holy One, is when everything really, truly opened up. Not only did it open up, all of my gifts opened up. And I have been truly, not only financially, but intimately abundant in every way possibly with my company, with my clients, with my relationships, with having a best-selling book, with my next book that's going to be coming out, and with everything in my life, where before my life was good. I had a nice, relationship with the Holy Spirit, but it wasn't like it is now. Now I can truly say I am who I really am because I let it really come through after the near-death experience.
That's a beautiful explanation. In fact, I want to go a little further, if that's okay with you, Dan.
Of course.
This is what I'm so excited about. So I discovered Diana Cooper, and Diana Cooper does meditations about bringing your chakras into the fifth dimension. But when I heard your opening prayer and your invocation of that fifth dimension, I went, yep, Kimberly is the real deal. I can feel that you're intimately aware of it. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about what that feels like and or how to notice, go a little deeper into that fifth dimensional reality and what it means? You can get as small or big as you like. It's a huge topic, but I'm so fascinated by your take on that.
Thank you. You know, that fifth dimensional prayer that I channeled was a lot like going to an AA meeting. That fifth dimensional prayer is like an oath. The fifth dimensional prayer, that specific one, is something that I often say beginning of all my classes and at the beginning of some of the sermons that I hold in Los Angeles. And that is something that will carry out through history, not only in my book, but it's, even on the audio, it's, you can purchase that. And that, all of the affirmations in my book are not Kimberly. They are channeled through the guides. My guides are the awakening of the ascension. They are beyond all time and space. It's not a lifetime, it's a timeline. They are dimensional, multidimensional beings of timeline, meaning when I died and I came back, I came in through a timeline of dimensional frequency. We are multidimensional beings, meaning when you say these affirmation and prayers, you're switching in through different timelines and dimensions, meaning you can do all and be all and heal by saying, I believe, and I'm in the fifth dimension. As easy as that, you are in it and you can heal and be it and see it and believe it and do it.
That's a perfect explanation. Dan, I know you have experience as a healer, and I do too. We're not practicing on the level that Kimberly is, but all of that language is very familiar, and that's an amazing description, that multidimensionality. And that experience of life is kind of difficult to talk about. Is this something that you'll be teaching at the Omega? Are you actually doing breakout sessions so people can talk about it more and learn about it more?
Yes, Anna, we're going to be teaching it for 5 days, September 10th to the 15th. I'm laughing because it's called Living in the Fifth Dimension. It's my retreat at the Omega. We are so excited. We're going to be teaching it through the whole week. I'll be doing mediumship readings and also laying on hands teaching. And we will be actually witnessing the healing and the teachings and dissolving off matter of people's energy frequencies off their bodies. And this is going to be so freaking exciting to actually witness this type of healing and invoking the power of the energy in your own ability. So we'll be doing activations, meditations, chakra healings, and we are so excited to be doing this. I do some of this teachings in Los Angeles, but it hasn't been for a few years. And now we're super excited about doing this at Rhinebeck, New York at the Omega Institute.
That's incredible. Can't wait. It's really exciting.
It's so exciting.
I think that a lot of people are hearing words like awakening, and they're hearing words like fifth dimension, and they're understanding that the third dimension isn't all it's cracked up to be. And that in a certain sense, just suspending that allows them to feel more strength, more potential, more power, more ease. And that really deciding and believing in that is really that simple. I don't think people realize it's so intuitive and natural. You agree? Yeah.
Yeah. For me, because I've been doing it since I was a baby. I've been doing these things since I was little. So I'm just excited to share it with everybody. And my clients that come to me in the office, they'll have like a lymph node or a breast lump. And when I do it to them, they're like, wow, this is so cool. Thank you. And then they do the testimonials and I have them in my book. And, a small group of people have been healed by me, but now it's time to do more of the masses and teach more people how to do it too. So it's very cool.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's really cool. I think a lot of people are familiar with it in rudimentary terms. Maybe they've heard of something like in Course in Miracles, shifts in perspective, but what you're talking about is really groundbreaking. And I know that, Dan, I hate to speak for you, but I know that Dan and I grew up in an environment where spirituality was really encouraged. but also the power of it. For me personally, I had to go learn about mediumship. I was not comfortable with things that I felt were scary. But what I learned from studying mediumship and going through the courses, that healing mediumship was where I felt really good. Other forms, rescue and transition, spirit connection, made me uncomfortable. So I'm hoping that our listeners will really understand. I feel you. When you talk about it, it's like you get joyful, childlike. It's like it's the most natural thing. It's like play. And I feel a sense of playfulness when you're really talking to your callers. Does that resonate? Is that something that you feel, just a joy?
Yes, thank you, Anna. I feel that, um, it comes from the energy of love, and I am 100% a medium. That's who I am, and a psychic, but also I am a laying on hands healer. Can't get away from that. I come from a long line of um, energies of God, which is people like come through me, like Catherine Kuhlman, who did healing at Carnegie Hall for years. They come through me. Amy Simple McPherson. Some of these people, you can Google them. They're so joyful, loving. They love to come through me and work through me also. Mary Baker Eddy. These are laying on hands women that want to carry it on still. So I'm open for them to come through me. They're joyful, they're loving, they're beautiful. This is the time of the Christ light, Christ consciousness. So yeah.
Wow. That's quite a legacy. And I feel the truth of that too from you. You're like a rock star. I'm loving this conversation.
So when people they can go to the Omega website and actually register.
Yes, that's
So
where
we're
they
going
go.
to post that.
They can go there, and they can go to my website, thehealingtrilogy.com, which was formulated by the guides after my NDEs. They like that to be called the Healing Trilogy. When you reach my page, it's right on the front of the page. It says Omega Institute, and you can just go right there to come join us at this beautiful retreat. We'll be there.
That'd be wonderful. I know I'm going to send it out to a lot of people that I know.
I'm sure we're going to be there. Yeah, I know.
Yes, it's going to be super fun. I can't wait to be there. And I know a lot of my followers are coming. And when I say that, the people that are coming are not only people that are friends and family and loved ones, but healers, mediums. I'm getting chills.
Wow.
And colleagues are coming. And I'm so excited about that because they have strong, I'm getting just chills through my body right now.
Yeah.
From the Holy Spirit. They are also light workers. So this is going to be a profound event because they're joining in with their healing abilities also. So if you're hearing this and you're not feeling good, come to the Omega Center September 10th to the 15th. You are going to be healed.
I love it.
I do too. I feel like a lot of times a healing crisis can be a calling to open your mind to being that healer.
I don't want to cry, but I do feel this is going to be a major healing event for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are awakening. A lot of people, I think that's the power of discover your potential. Why I believe in Dan's legacy of his mom is that I didn't meet Cindy until after she had passed. I met her quite recently. And it touched me that what she came through to tell me was this is quite normal. This is quite normal for many people, but that it was really important to normalize, which is why it's such a win for you to be on the cover of magazines, Kimberly, and to lead the charge for anybody listening to this now. Like discover your potential takes on a completely different meaning, right?
Yeah, I think Preferred Health Magazine is going to be there too. I think Angelina is coming.
Oh, she is. Oh, great.
I feel like it's not, I want to make this very clear. It's not about Kimberly. It's about other healers and other mediums also coming to Omega and them showing their gifts too. and them also proclaiming who they are. It's very important.
It's very important. And I think anybody that practices traditional medicine is called from a heart-based standpoint, but not always. Was that difficult for you in nursing as you were coming up to, or were you always just very comfortable incorporating your gifts into nursing and mainstream medical?
It's a very good question. I always was kind of an outsider in the nursing community because in the nursing community, I always was an intuitive, even there. I always had a hard time with the medical field giving up on people. So when we would be, say, in a room or having an assignment, I always had a hard time when they say, let's call the code, or this person only has a few days to live. I always could hear a little voice say, no, they're going to make it, or give them one more last try. I've always been like that, though, as a child, even when I would hear something. I'm a very strong optimist. I don't want to hear that someone's not going to make it. I'm like that even at the expos. I'll find the sickest person in the crowd and call them up on stage. I want to. I hear the Holy Spirit always say, "You can be healed. You can be healed." So I have to, and oftentimes at the hospital, a doctor may say, you only have 24 hours to live, and I would know the person was going to live.
Wow. Well, that's another reason why people should come see you in person. I mean, I think that just that testimony that you're going to build for people around, seeing is believing, and a lot of people really need to see that in action. But it's a gift that you had that many experiences where you could feel beyond.
Yeah, I feel that nobody can call your fate of when your life is over, that the higher court is God, and that we have our own right to know our destiny. And I feel that our will is the strongest connection to when we leave and when we come in, and we come in on our breath and we leave on our breath. So we have to proclaim our life.
Wow. That's powerful. I relate to it because I helped my dad transition when he had no other alternative. He had no health insurance. And I was there with him, transitioning him. And then I volunteered several times afterwards in hospice because it was so exciting to feel the room fill with light and spirit. And the transition became exciting. And the whole process was very personal and very exciting. So I know what you're talking about. And and it's in death and transition as a life isn't really scary, knowing that you continue on. And I think a lot of people just want confirmation of that.
Yeah, and that's why this is going to be very cool at Omega, because not only are we going to learn to lay hands and do healing, but I also speak to the other side. And what's going to be so loving and wonderful is I'll be doing many readings, connecting people to their loved ones that have crossed over, and comforting people and connecting them to complete affirmations of information to them so they can witness the confirmation of information of their loved ones. So I love doing that. And I'm also doing something new because I have another book that I'm writing right now, which is called Soul Frequencies. And the soul frequencies communicate with your destiny of what's coming up next for you in your life. So I'll be doing those too. So I'm going to be doing soul frequency readings and communicating with your loved ones that have crossed over. So this is going to be like a big, fun extravaganza for the week.
Wow. Do you mind giving a little preview, a little bit more intro into soul frequency? I mean,
soul frequencies are something that happened like the last year. And soul frequencies are messages from beyond that they come in and they give numbers that come up above your head. And the numbers can range from anything from 1 to an infinite amount of numbers. And they communicate to me on different life paths and angels. And they can just randomly go from like 1 to 9 to 8 to 10 to 12 beyond. And they all come up and communicate with me with ranges in different communication. So it could just be anything that they're going to communicate with. So an 8 could mean a soulmate is trying to communicate to you, and then they'll tell me who the soulmate is and why the soulmate is trying to communicate and what it's about. A 7 could mean they don't like what you're doing for work 7 days a week. And then a 2 could mean they want you to cut back. It just, the reading is a line of numbers, and the reading will communicate each individual reading of number, and the number communicates each individual message. So for each individual number, I will give a line or two for each individual number, and each individual number is a message of an angel, and the angel will give a reading for that, and it goes on and on and on. So each person I pull up on stage will get a soul frequency reading message, and the message will come in from an angel, and it goes completely with that reading. So my readings, when I do one-on-one or 60 minutes of soul message frequency readings, and they are very specific and accurate. So I do these at expos. I do these in private readings on my website. Not only are they so accurate, they are finding people that are missing. They are helping people with moving them into new jobs. They're helping people with relationships. They're helping people start companies. They're helping people with tremendous amount of different things with shifting their lives.
Wow. That's incredible.
I know that's our favorite line today. That's incredible. Is this a modality that you developed, Kimberly? Is this something completely new?
This is my next new book is on soul frequencies and divine messages from the other side. And it's something that I just got as a new gift, and I'm accepting it from the guides. And it's a very important new gift, and I will be doing it at the Omega. And it is something, probably the last 2 days, I'll be doing tons of these readings. Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. It's really exciting.
Well, I think what's exciting about your show too, Kimberly, is that even if it's not a message for me personally, I love the way you interact with guests. And I love the aha and the accuracy and the way you light people up. And I think that's really the true gift, is the way you affect people. It's a very authentic gift.
Yeah, that's a great segue too, Anna, because Anna got the privilege of listening to you in your show. So I'd love to chat with you about that, actually, because you're on Blog Talk.
Oh, yes. And you are the producer, and I am so honored and grateful because, oh God, thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm honored too. So that's
you're just the show started like 2018 over at KCAA, and now we're over at Blog Talk, and we've like spiked up to like #1, and Dan is the producer, and we are just so grateful. And we have, oh my God, getting chills again right now. We have so many people calling on, and we're just so excited.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We over 100 callers usually. It's pretty amazing.
Wow. And I'm really in awe, Kimberly, that over the airwaves and in live real time, you can address medical issues. Now, obviously that's your gift, but even over the airways intuitively without being a hands-on healer, can I ask you a little bit about what it is you sense? Are you clairaudient? And I know it's kind of unfair to break it down and be so rudimentary about your clairs or what you're sensing, but since it's a completely sonic, relationship over the air, is there something you can talk about how you get or what you pick up or what it's like for you?
Yeah, no, I'm glad you're asking. I'm happy to answer that. Yeah, so I'm clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairescent, all of it. And I used to prefer mostly seeing people, but it's interesting that after we hit COVID, I started doing a lot of readings on Clubhouse.
Oh,
I don't know
wow.
if you're familiar with Clubhouse. And
Yes.
Clubhouse is an app. And when I first started doing my mediumship, I was in the studio on KCA like we are right now. And then we shut down and we didn't have it at all happening because we had to take a break. So I was like, I'm going to check out Clubhouse. So I started doing readings on Clubhouse. And I grew my Clubhouse platform from like 4 people to 23,000.
That's great.
And wait, and it was on an app. And I was like, I have nothing else to do. I might as well try to save some lives on Clubhouse. So it was the app where you can't see anybody. And I started doing readings on there. And I'm like, I wonder if I could do it like this. So I have to say, I'm getting like the chills again. Me and this young kid named Ethan Klein, he's like 21 years old. He's like, let me get you on my Clubhouse thing. So I'm like, okay. And then I started doing TikTok and I was like, the guys were coming in and I'm like, oh my God, I can do it like this. I don't need to see anybody. And then for next thing you know, I'm like, I can just like that. And then I started doing coast to coast AM where there's no way to see anybody. And I got faster and faster and faster and faster. And I'm like, my girlfriend's like, you're all of them. You're clairvoyant, clairaudient. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't need to be seeing anybody anymore. So I'm like, yeah, I don't need to have, I can do it. Yes. I am just all of it. Yeah.
That is so encouraging, I think, for people that, want to expand their gift and maybe have this misperception that it's one thing, it's another thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I took Diana Cooper's third eye meditation for bringing it into the fifth dimension. And I remember just thinking, oh, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this.
Yeah.
And then when it got to clairsentience, I went, well, of course I get that. That's what I am. But I was discounting myself. It was like saying I can't ride a tricycle, but I know how to ride this bullet train. But I'm so disappointed in myself that I can't ride the tricycle. Or we classify these things and we limit ourselves. So it's so powerful to hear you are even making breakthroughs in real time.
Well, I think I work with a lot of mediums and psychics too, and they get scared. They'll say, oh no, I have to be able to see somebody, or I have to do it this way or that way. And I'll say, just try it, open yourself up. A lot of people will say, they hear the word psychic surgeon or trance medium, because I'm a trance medium, and they get afraid. Oh, I don't know if I could do that. If I take a class, I don't know if I could dissolve something off of somebody. Have you tried to do? They know Reiki, but they don't know what a psychic surgeon means or what this means or what it, but you can try it. You can see how it feels. How do you know if you don't put your hands, or you get an activation from Kimberly at Omega? What might open up, or your third eye, or what does it mean to have this energy? When I took a Reiki class, I became a Reiki master like that. And my Reiki teacher says, you have to leave now. I said, why? You're too advanced for all of us. What do you mean? You're not going to be a Reiki teacher. You're going to teach something totally different, Kimberly, that's going to help the world move in a vast ascension. I am? I cried. I said, I want to stay with all of you. No, you have to leave. Why? You're too advanced for us. You have to go. I said, I want to be with all of you. No, you must leave. I was so heartbroken. I was so sad. And then when I left, I said, oh my gosh, she's right. I am doing something different. And now the woman is like, look at you. See? She was right.
Hard to take a push. Yeah. It's hard.
But I felt so, I wanted to be with all of them.
You were ready for graduate school and you wanted to stay in kindergarten. I love your sense of play. I think that people don't understand. They really get caught up in their secret sauce and they lose the sense of play. And of course, spirit is so, that's why children are so intuitive, because they don't lose that sense of play. And I love the introduction you gave us about blinking. And I wonder, is there anything that you can teach young or budding or awakening souls, that it's about the spirit of play, because that's all I sense from you whenever I hear you talking to people. Is that important to you, that sense of play?
Yes, because kids are the most important, and they are our world, and children clearly are what are going to save us right now. Children are our future, and we need to be more childlike. And children that come to me, they love the fifth dimension. They walk in my office, and they when they young as 14 years old are reading the fifth dimension, awakening to the fifth dimension, and they'll come in and they'll say, out of my body, out of the room, out of the universe now. And they know all of the little sayings in my book, and I just love it, and they clearly get it. They get what's going on, and they know that it's important to have a sense of maturity too, of course, and take responsibility for our actions. But it's important to always keep the sense of humor going, because we need it, and laughter heals.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
I think that
being kind is important. We have to be
Yeah.
kind and loving, and having a balance of our masculine and feminine energy is super super important. And letting the ego, I always say, ego or I go. I have to make sure that it's important to understand that we have to honor God where we came from. And I feel being grateful every morning I wake up. I say all my gratefuls, how happy I am here to be alive and to serve. And I just want to say how grateful I am of Dan and you having me here today. And I hope that people come to the Omega Center to be with us.
Yeah, that's going to be extraordinary.
I feel like at this point it's not to be missed. I mean, I'm sure we have our tickets, right, Don? We're definitely lining up.
You will be getting them, yes.
And bringing others. Kimberly, doing this show is always a pleasure. What I find is that our guests stay with me. I certainly knew of you before. I feel really privileged, and I'll even a little emotional that I feel like you're going to stay with me a long, long time. And these conversations are so key. And I'm touched that you would, honor us with talking about these deep things. And, and I hear your callers, you get through like 6 in an hour. And I'm like, when I got here, I was like, well, we get a whole hour just to ask her and just to be with her. What do you wish that people knew, about spirit or the fifth dimension, or just anything in general? What do you wish people would take away from, your life's work or anything you have to teach?
I think the most important thing that I'd like people to take away is not to be afraid, to be more fearless, because life is so very short. And I know a lot of people say life is short, but it is truly very, very vastly short. But in being short, it is timeless, and it's dimensionally um, um, broken up, and you can have many lives in one life, meaning anything is possible and everything is possible. And I've witnessed so many different um, um, movies inside of one movie. So I feel like being as fearless as possible and going for what you want to do is really important to do. And being as happy as you can be is so important. And living in your truth.
I love
Beautiful.
that.
I love that.
Yeah, I love it. I love that they channel through me, and that I love the guides so much.
And I know we were talking about the Omega, but you also have your own classes, and
Yeah.
I'd love to segue into your own classes too. You had a pretty incredible story about that, um, or incredible stories, I should say.
Yes, thank you, Dan, for reminding me. I have on my website at thehealingtrilogy.com, we have events that we do. And two of my main events that I do every month is called a Spirit Circle of 8, where it's an intimate class of 8 where we do guaranteed readings. And that's every month. And then I have a class called the Mother Mary Prayer Circle. And it's a nonprofit organized free event that we do. And we do it bilingual, Spanish and English. And we have mediums and healers come on, and it's free, nonprofit. So anybody can come, and it's up to 200 people sometimes come on. It's been going on for about 5 years now. And miraculous healing takes place. It's unbelievable. And what Dan is speaking of is this last weekend, just a few days ago. This is a spiral of 2 hours to go super fast. It's amazing. And we do the rosary. The rosary has been taught throughout the world in many traditions, Native Americans, all kinds of, not just Catholicism. So many people come in and we do it in different ways of prayer. And the vibration is really raised high. And then we do mediumship readings. And then you come in different prayer circles, like there's one circle and then an outer circle. So we went through the room and we found one woman I found has ovarian cancer. And she said, I said, that you have it? And she said, yes, I do. I heard that she had it. And then we started doing prayer on her. And through the prayer, she was receiving the prayer. And she was feeling the healing going through her body. And she said she was healed. She goes, I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed. And we were hearing, she yelled out, I'm healed. And anyway, a vast amount of people throughout the room were crying. And everyone was putting through the chat, Jennifer's healed, Jennifer's healed, Jennifer's healed. And as she was praying, I am healed, she was putting her arms up. You could see light flowing through her body. And there was about 150 people putting through the chat, Jennifer's healed, Jennifer's healed, Jennifer's healed, Jennifer's healed. I am healed, I'm healed. They were all putting through the chat as it was flowing through the chat. And she was crying through her body. You could just see the flowing of the light going through her.
Wow, that's astounding.
That gave me chills. I can like feeling that.
She never told us anything. So just imagine like all these people, and I see her in the boxes, right? I don't know anything. This Holy Spirit said, that's the woman they want to heal. And I click on her. I said, they're telling me you have ovarian cancer. And she's laying in the bed. She goes, I do. And I heard God say, heal her now. So I went down her body. I said, Jennifer, they're telling me it's the left one ovary. She goes, yes, it is. I heard, I'm getting chills right now. They said she has 2 children. I said, you have kids? She goes, yes, I do. I said, they're telling me they want you healed right now. She goes, they're telling me I only have a few months to live. I said, they're telling me they want to heal you. The whole chat lit up. We're healing, heal her. They're going, heal her. Holy Spirit, heal her. And then I said, they're telling me they want you healed now. She goes, I want to be healed. Please, I don't want to go. I want to be with my kids. And that's when the whole chat opened up. And then we start all praying. We all put our hands forward. And then she started breathing. And I said, accept the Holy One. She goes, I do. I do accept. And then that's when the whole chat was up. And then she says, like that. She put her hand over her heart.
Wow. What a powerful testament to what you said before.
But she believes.
Yeah.
So she believes. So this is what goes on in these rooms. So this is what happens in the rooms. And then she believes. When we're on stage or we're in a bigger room like Omega and these things go on, we're not even touching. We're not doing, we're just putting our hands out. We can touch, we'll fly off. But this is even in a Zoom.
Right.
These are in Zoom rooms. So there's other groups with people that do this all over the world. But we're not even, we're just doing like this. This room on our Zoom just a few days ago, because it was such a high intensity and everyone in joining in the chat, it was so powerful. She laid back. She like fell back like this.
Yeah. Actually, I remember there was one time where my mother, because my mother did healing and was a medium also, but she did a lot of energy work and a lot of healing,
Yeah,
and she always said, I never take my own energy. I'm always taking it, obviously, from a higher source.
I love
But
that.
it was extraordinary. I remember one time she's so many clients, but one of the client that came in, she had cancer. Uh, but just and it was interesting because my mom had an office in Providence in Rhode Island, because that's where my mother worked. And the client left, and I was a little kid, I was sitting in the waiting room, and I came up and I just felt my mom's energy because it was just so strong. Because I remember she used to come over and she used to hug me, and I'm like, "Oh my God, you're so hot, mom!" Because at the time, but you could feel that, just the heat just coming right out. And everybody that used to get healed by my mom, as soon as she would put her hands, because she never would touch anybody, as soon as she put her hands on them, they'd be like, "Oh my God, I can feel the heat." Anyway, it's extraordinary. But I got to see this in real time my entire life as a
That's
kid.
Mm.
nice. I love that about your mom. And I feel that connection because there's not a lot of psychic mediums that are also healers. And I feel like she wants that to be happen more. And I feel like that's a part of my journey is to have more mediums become healers.
Yes.
And I feel like that would be super cool thing for me to do. Like I really do want that to be a part of my journey is to
Mm.
more in everybody and do the activations. And I feel like that was the Reiki master was trying to say to me
Yeah.
to go do that. That's your journey. And people are asking me, when are you going to start teaching more? And I feel like that's was a real gift that Omega reached out and said to come do the teaching because that
Yeah.
was a real surprise for me.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be extraordinary. You're gonna be doing the teaching, and you're gonna be doing the healing.
Mediumship
It's
too,
just
which
the
is fun.
mediumship as well. It's gonna be incredible.
I would love
Ah,
I would
like
love to give a shout out. Yeah, I feel it too,
I,
right?
I can't I can't wait.
I know. Well, I want to give a shout out to this from what I know, my very basic training in mediumship, that I was very much more comfortable with healing mediumship. I want to encourage anybody out there that
Thanks.
feels even a spark listening to you talk, Kimberly. I think that when you talk about trance mediumship, some people don't understand. It is the most lovely feeling in the world to be connected to those guides. It is more natural and more childlike and more safe than you can even imagine. So please come to the Omega. Please come experience that. And if you're called right now listening to this, you are definitely supposed to be there. Do not even hesitate to buy a ticket to be with the beautiful Kimberly Meredith, and you'll feel her in person. But I think it's incredible that you've transcended all those things. And that's why your next modality is this frequency. That's because you are building and building. And so I am so honored to talk to you about this today.
Thank you, beautiful Anna. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank
And thank
you.
you, Dan. Thank you guys so much for having me on your show. I love Discover Your Potential.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. And we're blessed to have you. I know we're out of time, but isn't there anything last that you want to say before we go? I know you have to run too.
Yeah, I'm just really excited about the Omega Institute, September 10th to 15th. I hope all of you are able to see me there. And if you need me for anything, I'm at thehealingtrilogy.com. And thank you for listening to us today. And God bless everybody. Namaste.
Thank you so
Namaste.
much.
Thank you.
And
Thanks,
so
guys.
honored to have you. Thank you.
This is Cindy Gilman, and you're listening to Discover Your Potential. So until next time, do something nice for yourself, but Do something nice for someone else.
Something about gravity